Hey everybody, it's Jen Lejotis and Janelle Hoyland. We are Spiritual Happy Hour live here in New Jersey, and I'm so excited. I'm always excited for the show, but today is super special because Janelle and I are actually in person, filming on a couch together. And really, this is how it all started for us. It really started as two girlfriends talking about life, talking about how to live your higher self and how to incorporate that for me with questions, asking Janelle a ton of questions. And so it's really special because we're here in person and you all can experience, I think, what it's like between us.
And see the dialogue between us.
Side by side.
When you watch us kind of split screen, you don't really get to see the dialogue or the, funny moments that we actually have together. Yeah. It's hysterical.
And there's a lot.
I can't even tell you. It's like, we really need to have comedy hour for ourselves because
we do.
It's super fantastically funny. But I flew in. When did I get?
Yeah, here we go with time.
Tuesday. I got here Tuesday.
Yes.
And Wednesday we did the photo shoot for the book, for the cover. Fantastic. We had a lot of funny moments.
We were on the beach.
Changed in the car.
Yeah. Twice.
So what are we going to talk about today?
All right. Today is divine appointment, which I have heard about divine appointment. It's the first time I heard about divine appointment was when Sonia brought us together. We write about it a little bit in the book. And I had no idea. I had never heard what a divine appointment is. What I know is it's supposed to be something that you set up for yourself before you're born to connect with somebody, to help them remember who you are. But I thought that it was only a couple sprinkled in, like big moments. I don't know, like your marriage, I don't know, job, meeting with somebody, and that was it. But no, you tell me, they're all the time.
Well, but first we have to
let's go to before you were born.
That's
where I want to go.
No, you gotta go. No, in this time.
I'm like pre-life.
Okay.
I want to go to like the setup. When I'm like, okay, Janelle's on my list, check.
No, we have to back it up.
He's on my list, check.
No. We have to back it up. No. When Sonia said divine appointment, what was she talking about? Where were you going?
I was going to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was going to Hawaii. Where was Janelle going?
To Hawaii.
So where did we meet?
Hawaii. Yeah.
In the art room?
Yes. Yeah. Check.
So we met in the art room in Hawaii. And you were pregnant?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
She was pregnant.
Yeah. That was really special.
Yeah, and I was doing my crazy stuff as I normally do, breaking the rules kind of thing. I was kind of struggling with why I was there a little bit.
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hang out.
While you were in the art room?
No.
Or the whole
just in
experience?
General. Yeah, in general.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how we met. And then from there, we became great friends and had lots of conversations, shared our kids, our relationships, all the girly stuff. And then we had the phone call about doing the radio show together. Yeah,
Janelle called me one day. Both kids, I think one was 9 months old, the other was 2 and a half. And at the time I was like, do a radio show. It totally resonated, totally hit me here in the heart, made total sense. Because I never told you this. When I was a kid, I dreamed of being on the radio. And then in college, I was on the radio in college.
Yeah, you didn't.
So when I was a little girl, like I used to love radio and that's what I wanted to do.
Perfect.
And so when you said that, I was like, well, I've always wanted to do that. And then my other love was trying to incorporate the other world, right? My higher self into daily life. And that's what I would call Janelle all the time on the phone and say, do you have a minute? Because I've got a question. But when you called me and said, let's do it, I was like, great. And then fear, which we talk about in the book. But it's amazing to me, though. I really thought that divine appointment was only
like a couple of things.
Yeah. And it's amazing to me because if this is a divine appointment, just one, and what we've gone on to create
Yeah,
together.
but you know, the key is that you were open to it both times, not just with me, but with Sonia. See, you were open with them, right? So the divine appointment comes in. It's up to you to be open to it, right? So you can totally miss it, right? Because you're in your head or you're overthinking or whatever you're doing, and you can miss that divine appointment.
Yeah, I was going to ask that because, yeah.
Just miss it altogether because you're not open, and I don't mean open just for the sake of just obscure open. I just mean that, you know, not that you're holding that when is my divine appointment consciously in your mind, but once it was said to you, you didn't really think about it after that.
Well, it was interesting. I did a little bit, but I see what you mean. It's like, oh, it sounds fun. Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah.
You know, okay. Why not? So that, if that's what you mean, totally. Yeah. No, I did a little bit. Like I was there. I put a few things up in the air where I'm like, how is it? You're right, though. I was open to it. And I think because I was open to it, the bigger pieces that I was worried about, I get it now, fell into place.
Yes, they fell into place.
The things that I thought there's no way it's going to happen, but I see what you mean. So in other words, we have to be open, but we always then feel it then, or do you not always feel it? Because to me, I was like, as open as I thought I was like, okay, well, this is a divine appointment. You know,
oh yeah, so
D.A. on a shirt.
Yeah, so you were making it more of a predominant moment.
Right.
And holding more value than just the conversation and it was mentioned to you.
Right, exactly. And that's interesting to me because, okay, so clearly we set these up to remember who we are, to have just experiences in life. And it doesn't have to be a big thing then, is what I'm learning from you. It can just be go jump off the rock at the beach.
Well,
you know,
for me, like the divine appointment was like me coming here.
See, wow, got it.
Okay. Right, so it was something set up in advance, right? I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm not trying to get it. It just is something that your spirit, in conjunction with the universe and whoever else, like with you, like I'm supposed to connect with her in this way, like right now, this week, and that's a divine appointment.
But it cracks me up because, see, here's where my logical brain comes in. And I think, I say this every single show. I think, well, how do you discern then? It should be by feeling, and that I understand.
Right.
But then I think, my God, I must have missed a ton. or just been halfway there, not realizing it. Like, okay, la, la, la.
Well,
jump in the pool. Great. Do you know what I mean? Because,
yeah.
So here's the story. All right. So people must set up like thousands.
Yeah,
I mean, there's probably no number.
Well, it's more so that there's a rhythm that happens.
Okay.
And sometimes you happen to like swim in the rhythm, and sometimes you get out and you get a tube and you try to float, or you stick your toe in, or you
go back to the cabana.
Yeah.
You get mad or something.
Yeah. So it's a rhythm, and so what happens is, for me, right? It's a constant rhythm of me getting in the right places at the right time, having the right conversations with the right people. But it's also up to the other person. Like I can do my part and show up,
right,
and be open and be a part of that rhythm. And so what happens is when you create that rhythm of openness and allowing the universe to move you without like going like, oh my God, I can't do that because I have a ton of other things to do.
Right, right.
Then you create different possibilities
in that appointment.
Yes, but also outside of that to come to you.
Got it. Okay. And is it always? It could be with any amount of people. Then it could be. It could be with 2. It could be with 5. It could be with 10.
Right.
And then like if everybody's on board and going, then for all you know, like we talk about all the time, there's surprises and things that could pop up.
Right. So
from that creation.
Right.
From that togetherness.
Right. So if I hadn't gone to Hawaii and hadn't done that, regardless of what I thought it was about.
Right.
If I had said, oh, you know, to my team, I don't really feel like doing that, a different moment would have come up.
Right. I was going to say that.
But it wouldn't have been as powerful, and it wouldn't have connected so many dots in my life.
Right. Right. Well, or mine either, because I think for me, maybe just the setting, Hawaii, and for me, I guess as a mom, I never really took time for myself. So this was a big deal for me to take 6 days and focus on myself.
Yeah, well, I had two small kids. My girls were 5 and 8. Yeah, at the time. So it's a big deal to ask my husband to stay and watch the kids while I'm off gallivanting in Hawaii.
Right. Yeah, because I got that same story. So you're just going to be at the beach and I'm going to be watching the kids? Thanks a lot. Yes, you are. And I'll do that for you sometime. Okay, but that's interesting too. So it just pops into my head in terms of marriage then, right? So you can have divine appointments all the time. And so with different people in your life, I mean, I'm focused on like partnerships for now in my head, right? So there's like me and you. I could separate with either my 2 kids. I can have my son and I, my daughter and I, my husband and I. Right. You can pop up.
Yeah. So like when I met my husband, I knew that I was supposed to marry him. It was like, I knew. So that to me is a divine appointment. Now I could have said no and I could have did whatever and, go through that. But the other thing is too, like, how do you know that it's a divine appointment?
Right. I was just going to ask you. I mean, I think knowing you for as long as I know you, I understand the feeling.
How long was that, by the way?
No, like 2008.
2008.
So that's almost 10 years, not quite. Like 8 years. We're in the 8th year.
Okay, we're in the 8th year.
But okay, as long as I've known you, I can feel. I want to say I should be able to feel it. I can feel the difference, but maybe not. So I guess that's a good question.
Well, like
how does it resonate differently than something else? Because if you can have them all the time, here I go again. So you're at Stop and Shop and you run into whoever, I mean, I think it's probably more than that. I think it's the experiences or people that are put in your life that you get that as you always say, the ping, it's full. It feels solid.
Right. So for me, like if you're just a regular person, right, you just get up in the morning and you brush your teeth, you have a coffee, you get dressed, you go to work. Are there divine moments and divine timing in that? Yeah. There is, because you're in the right place at the right time. The issue is we have a lot of judgment around so much that we're doing because we think it's mundane.
To ourselves.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. We don't think what we're doing is good enough, no matter what it is. It could be like today, standing at the bus stop with the kids. Love doing it. I guess I could look at it one or two ways. Like, oh, I'm just a mom. My own thought, right? Sitting at this, don't have much going on. But it could mean the world to everybody there. What we create there together as a bus stop community is fantastic.
Right. Or it could be there's a mom outside that's at her house and she's looking at the window and she sees you.
Right.
What you're doing in the moment and being very authentic to yourself and allowing yourself to be in that space is giving her a divine moment, a divine appointment.
Oh my God, that gives me chills. I had no idea. See, I was thinking.
It's also the witness of other people to what you're doing in that moment.
That's amazing to me because I was thinking it was just that you had to be the participant in it together, not realizing again the witness. How so much, and Janelle, you bring up such a good point. So much of life is the witness. So much, and you're right. We don't give ourselves the credit.
Right.
For just being where we are. I mean, again, I guess I could go back to Stop and Shop. If you're being yourself with whoever there, you may again touch somebody there, in that way.
Right.
So it's not mundane. But again,
but it's also not looking like you're not forcing.
No, when you're just you, like a moment of you just being you.
Well, what I mean is like you're not going into the Stop and Shop. Where's my divine appointment?
Right. Where's my divine appointment?
And you're like looking for it. That's a forced energy, and it's not going to happen that way. It never happens that way.
Yeah. So it's basically
trust me, I know.
Just be you. Yeah. Right.
By the way, so for most people that don't know, because I'm so geared towards understanding energy, sometimes I have to make sure that I keep, the openness and focus because I can see what's coming. Right. So then that sort of
could take you out of the moment.
Could take me out of the moment where I'm looking for something to come at me.
Well, again, and as you said, a lot of people do that, I think, right? We're constantly looking forward, especially if we think it's mundane, what we're doing now, then we're constantly going, well, you know what? By next year or by next week, I'm going to do this, or I want to do this, but we must cut ourselves off because then we've missed what's in front of us.
Right.
But if you had to put a word for you to how divine appointment feels, and it's probably different because it's with different people or different things. How would you describe it? I'm just curious. If you had to...
you know what? There was another point that just came to my mind that was a really distinct divine moment for me. Divine appointment.
Right.
Well, it was Tuesday. It was when I was coming here. I knew that I had to be here this week.
Right.
I don't know what that has to do with in the totality.
Right.
It's this to me. Everything's usually exaggerated with me.
Right.
So,
which I like this. This is good because we can hear from you, and then I love to apply it to my own life and go, okay, wait a second. So, if this is the description, how do I do it?
So for me, it's exaggerated. So for me, it's like this, like you got to be there, like sense of urgency is how I feel it.
Interesting. But a peaceful,
not like an emergency
fun
situation.
Sense of urgency.
Right.
Oh, almost like when you're a kid, and if you play soccer, you can't wait to get on the soccer field, like that kind of thing. You think, like with excitement towards it, or
it's not excitement. It's more like everything in life doesn't matter except for being there in that moment.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So it's weird. It's not like emergency, and it's not like excitement. It's like the way I feel it is everything is converging in that moment. It almost feels like it's pulling me.
I love the converging and I love the pulling because it's not a priority. It's different than a priority. You know what I mean? When you hear the word priority, that's like work to me. That's not what this is. Like, it's like when you're talking from that higher soul, being led by that, it's a completely different, that's why I wanted to hear the words, because I do think, like we talk about all the time, what you say sends out that vibration, at least for me. When I hear you say it in that way, it resonates with me from that soul level, and I want it to resonate with everybody else in that way, so that we're
and you can usually bet if it's a divine appointment, everything that you've ever been worried about is probably going to come up to keep you from it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say is going to put it in place because
well, that too. It's that too.
It's both, right?
Yeah, it's that too. But it's also your fears come up and your blocks come up to kind of show you, like, hey, these things are really kind of standing in your way from this other thing that you want to actually experience, which is flow and rhythm and movement and connectedness and all that thing.
Well, and I always want to be like, why? Why do we have to even go through that? But I get it. It's life. We've already been there. I know.
Well, and
like you just said, you have to have the shadow with the light.
My husband, sometimes he'll say, well, why do you have to do that? And I'll say, because I have to.
Right. Well, yeah, I guess you don't really need an explanation more than that, right?
No, it's done. There's no argument back and forth.
Right.
It's done. It's when he asked me, why do you need to go that week?
Right. Yeah.
If I feel like, oh, well, it's kind of open-ended, I can move things around, that's not a divine appointment for me.
Okay. All right. I like the distinction. That makes sense to me. If you've got that feeling of not finality, but that, again, I keep wanting to call it solid.
Yeah, it's solid.
I keep wanting to call it solid.
Yeah. So when he asked me, he's like, well, why do you have to go that week? Or why do you have to do this? Or why do you? And I said, because I know I'm supposed to do it.
Right.
There's no question in my mind, no matter what's thrown in my way.
Right. Right.
And it could be the most entertaining, flashy dance you've ever seen somebody doing in front of me, and I'm still going to it.
Well, all right. I have like 5 questions that just came into my head. So I'm going to throw one out, but then I'm going to ask a second like I always do, because I'm not done with this point, but I don't want to forget the other one. Well, I'll just ask the other ones. It's interesting how you said the fear pieces come up beforehand. But what happened for me this week with you coming was like childcare. It was all taken care of. I mean, so I thought you were going to say, and you did, like the juxtaposition, anything that could have stood in my way where I wouldn't be available all day, right? Because again, we both have kids, right? So we've got to work around that and cooking and all that stuff. Last week, people just called me spontaneously. Hey, I got carpools were taken care of. Pickups were taken care of, food was taken care of, like you name it. It just flowed. Yeah. Completely, the whole thing, just from one end to the other.
So it can be both. Like you can have that where everything lines up to support you in that, but you can also have the tests also.
I hate the tests. But I know they're necessary.
You've had both.
Yeah, but I don't remember. It's so funny. I'm sure I had the fear going up to I did, yeah. of course, I had the fear. Of course I did, right? All the way walking through it. Fear, 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 fear. Oh no, what am I going to do?
But yeah,
blah,
but
blah.
you perceive me as not having it.
All the time.
Right?
All the time.
And then I tell you, like, I'm like, no, I'm terrified of that.
Yeah, no, all the time.
Not terrified wouldn't be the right
Yeah.
word. Like,
no, you're just walking through it like everybody else.
It's very
like
intense
everybody
sometimes.
else.
For,
yeah.
You know, everything's extreme for me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
So how do people start tapping into this?
Oh, wait.
No, go ahead, tell me.
Wait, so coming here, remember I told you, I didn't sleep. Like, I did not sleep.
Yes, that just came into my head. Yes,
I
totally.
didn't sleep, okay? And it wasn't like I didn't sleep because I was doing a lot of internal work. What was, you know, thought patterns, fears, going, you know, because I always walk through my own healing. And a lot of stuff was coming up for me. And I was running super late for the flight here. And so I jump in the car, get my bag. I'm like hurrying to the airport. And you know, my stomach's in knots because I'm stressed and I'm like worried, like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss my flight. And then I'm gonna have to call you and tell her I'm gonna be late. And then all these things were going through me. And then I hear internally, I hear my guides say to me, don't worry.
Right, you can't mess this up.
You can't mess this up. You can't sabotage it. It wasn't
not that you ever do.
But I wasn't sabotaging it in that sense. There was just so much healing that I was walking through that, and I'm saying it, like I've got goosebumps all over me. That the perception of it was that I was sabotaging myself. But it wasn't that. It was just the amount of work that I had been through. And I'm telling you, if I got maybe an hour of sleep the whole night.
Well, yeah, I mean, imagine your body and your soul and everything doing so many different things.
And so when I heard that, like, you can't mess this up, you're going to get there no matter what.
Right.
Right. So, and I pulled in, got on the thing. And as I'm driving and I'm feeling that tension in my stomach, and I know this is a divine appointment for this week. And then I felt my stomach and my whole just peace rolled over me. And I just let it all go in that moment. And as I'm pulling in, then everything went smoothly.
Right.
Everything. Like, and then at different moments it would come up, like in the airport, like I was standing in TSA and they had one line open. And I'm standing there like, are you real? Really? And then everybody was taking their sweet time, like, I'll get one shoe off.
Right. Or let me go through. Oh, I remember I got a bottle of my
thing. So it was
right in front
everything, and I'm standing there going, this is horrible. And
which is totally not you.
Right. Yeah. And then I felt the moment happen again. And I didn't even look at the time.
I love that too. How it was brought to you again. Like, it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. But I needed to really walk through that. And I'd never really walked through it that way.
Right. No.
Because I'm just so trusting, you know. So that piece of it for me reaffirmed how important it was for me to be here this week.
Well, yeah. And I guess for me too, Janelle, I go into I had definite challenges in the last 2 weeks about standing in who I am. Mm-hmm. Right. But then big time, you know, like naysayers. I mean, and we all have them, right? Like, you know, but on top of that too, I go into this mode of feeling like somehow, again, it's the worthy thing for me because it's a bigger thing that's coming in. And so, and then for me with the week before, this piece of needing to step into who I was and be seen from other people publicly. How am I seen publicly? But then when I internalize that in the house, it's the house isn't clean enough. And then I'm on the kids. Oh my God, clean your room. Everybody do this. And I know in my head, it has nothing to do with them. Mm-hmm. But still I go out and I do all these things. And it's interesting because it was more intense for me completely. Not realizing that this was a divine appointment. When I look backwards in the 2 weeks, I can see it now in terms of who are you? Can you be vulnerable and who you are in front of everybody else? And then I see what I do in the house. I have a tendency, which you never do, I have a tendency to throw it at the people. Oh, well, to throw it at the people in my life. And suddenly it's like, no one takes out the garbage but me. I'm the only one, you know.
Oh yeah, so you
blah 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 blah. Victim.
Yeah.
Victim. It's but connected to unworthy because I'm afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
So then it goes into who's there for me. Well, really, I think I just want the people around me there for me to bear witness, and they are the witness to me already. People saying you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
But now I see what you mean by the tests that you go through beforehand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although I kind of have it easy because this was going to happen no matter what. I couldn't screw up the divine appointment either because you were going to come. So no matter what, you know, but I suppose to some degree, if I still didn't walk through that or at least acknowledge it, because I do believe for me, I'm never happy. None of us are happy about putting your fears out on somebody else. Mm-hmm. You do try to turn that mirror back in and say, what is this really about? Why did I blow up at, you know, the 7-year-old, you know, and turn it back to myself to ask those questions. What is this for me? Right. And I'm hoping that has something that lends itself to this piece, you know, but again, in this instance, it was still going to happen no matter what, you know, unless I close the door. I'm sorry, Janelle, go home, you know.
No, but the other thing too is for me, like, so that's one of the feelings, right?
Yeah.
In that moment when I was struggling,
right,
and then I know that not everybody's going to hear that clearly,
right. Yeah,
I'm aware of that, but it's also a feeling like I just felt the struggle just leave.
You see, I have to tell you, I didn't feel the struggle leave. You know what I mean? But I felt the synchronicities happening, you know, completely. But I think that's my own self not releasing the struggle, not stepping in completely then.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so that means I'm going to get that lesson again. In another divine appointment or just whatever. Or I don't know. Or not. You know, who knows, you know. But that's so interesting.
You don't have to get it again.
Yeah, I'm not getting that again. You're all witness to me. I'm not getting that again. But so then I guess for all of us, tune into your body then.
Yeah, because it was like a wave. Like my stomach was really in knots, you know, and then I just felt it go, and then that just went over me.
Wow.
A huge sense of peace went over me. But like when I asked you to do the radio show,
right,
that was for me also a divine appointment, because I could have been not willing to ask you.
Right.
Because I didn't want to obligate you.
Right.
So in that conversation alone, we were kind of both walking through these layers of ourselves, right? I was being open and vulnerable with you and saying, hey, would you be willing to do something with me? And then again, when we agreed to do the book together, the same thing. Would you be willing to do this with me?
Right. Yes. It took me a while to get through those things. Lots of tests on myself. So how do we start to learn to discern what's what without looking for it and being crazy that way, and then let it get into that rhythm? I was going to say let it guide us, or get into that flow in that, you know?
Well, I think don't look at, you know, the other thing, like we're talking about divine appointments, so the first thing that most people are going to want to do, you're right, is to look for it.
Right. And
it's not
like I just keep seeing a superhero with like a big shirt, DA, looking for my divine appointment, you know, big capital letters.
Or DA could stand for a lot of other things.
I know.
Like dumbass.
I know, exactly. Don't be a dumbass in your divine appointment. Are you sure? That's what it is. Dumbass. I'm just kidding. Sorry, but you know, I mean that with love. And you know, I'll say it to myself. I'll be like, dumbass, that wasn't a divine appointment. You know, the guides. Bring in the billboard next time. No, it's not a billboard.
Plastered on your feeling. Yeah. No. But you're not.
You can totally use that.
You're not looking for it. That's the big thing. You're not looking for it. You're not searching for it. It's just the feeling that you have, that you know that you're supposed to be there.
Okay.
And different than you're forcing yourself, like
to be there.
You want to create an opportunity, so you start saying, I know it's a divine appointment that I'm supposed to be. No, you can't command a divine appointment. That's the first thing you need to understand, is it's not a command that you give to the universe. It's a command that the universe gives to you. It's your job to answer it.
The other thing too, interesting, because this came up for me this week too. Okay.
Did you feel that moment?
Yes. Well, I got an idea in my head as an example. I was like, wait a minute. And then it went like this.
Can we?
Now you have to say it again. Rewind. Say it again.
Okay. Let me try and rewind is the other issue because I don't ever remember anything that comes out of my mouth. Okay, hold on.
I'll breathe in.
It's not okay. It's not that you're looking for the divine appointment. It's
right.
that the universe gives you the divine appointment. It's up to you to answer.
Okay. Okay. I got it. It's so funny doing this way because usually you're in my ear. I usually am wearing headphones, and so it's so funny how face to face I totally didn't hear it. I was off in a question in my head, and there's something about you being in my ear, whatever. So it's them giving it to you without you looking.
Right. It's the gift. But then you also have to answer that call.
Yeah.
You know.
And again, we're getting these weekly, daily, all the time.
Yeah, but the big ones though.
Yeah, no, the big ones are different.
Yeah, the big ones are different. Yeah. You know, those are, I can count maybe 5 that are really big. Okay. Those are what I really call like the huge, life-changing divine appointments.
Okay.
Like this week was one.
Right. Okay.
And for you.
I know. I was like, divine appointment. No, but really, I joke, but it is. This was huge. But that's the piece too. It's interesting for me, and you know this. I sort of acknowledge myself, but not completely, right? Not stepping in and saying, heck yeah, like we did a lot. We did a lot together. We've done a lot of work, We've
both done a lot of work.
Yeah, heck yeah. We're not dumbasses. But but I want to go back.
I don't know, maybe.
Because you said this thing, this probably does not relate, but again, last week, or was it this week? Because I've seen you so much, which is fantastic. I don't remember where it goes in, but in trying to think about where else I want to be creative in my life, like there's the show, and in what other way related to the show, I was trying to think about one thing, and it wasn't the right direction for me, and it didn't feel right. For like years, it hasn't felt right. But other people around me were like, you should try this, you should do this. And I was like, yeah, I should do that. And it was trying to fit a square peg into the round hole. Would that possibly be something that would block divine appointment?
Yeah.
Because again, there's no way I'll be able to figure it out if I'm constantly going, well, yeah, I think, okay.
But those are really other people's projections onto you.
Yeah, what they think I should do or be, or maybe what I was for them in the past, because as it was related there. Not in the past, I don't mean that in any way. I just mean, I don't know. There's more of it was a friendship piece, and then, or maybe not. I'm not quite getting that right.
Because most people like for you to stay
small.
Well, no, not just small, but they think they know what's best for you.
Right.
Because it's easier for other people to look at your life or my life and say, this is what you should do.
Right. Yeah. But I do feel like, for me, running that dialogue in my head constantly has not freed it up to let the universe to bring the next thing in.
Oh, okay.
In that sense, that's just what I think.
Yeah, but that could be true for you.
I mean, there's also always the underlying fear of, what is that next thing?
Oh, my gosh. I think for you, it's a lot about getting it right, though.
Yeah, it's always about getting it right.
Yeah, getting it right.
I'm just leaving that behind. I say it every time. I'm releasing the need to get it right. And that's interesting, though, because, again, you don't walk in that way. You do not walk in getting it right. You never get it right. Walking in.
No, but like when sometimes you hear kids say this, like they say things with such a finality, like when you ask them, like, well, why did you do that? Because I had to.
Yes.
That's a divine appointment.
Okay, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
There's no guess.
Right, that's fantastic.
And it's not like it's this big, huge thing that they're doing.
No, it could be
playing with a friend, or doing a play, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So there's two kinds of divine appointments. To me, there's the divine appointments that are meant to push you outside of your comfort zone into a greater reality of yourself.
Okay. There's a lot.
Did you hear
I
that?
heard it.
Hold on. I have to feel that moment. Because that's really selfishly for me. So I might take that one.
Totally push you out of yourself. Right. It's more you are in the greater moment. I don't know, but yeah. I have to breathe in.
Yeah, that makes me cry.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other ones that are you contributing to the greater overall.
Like the greater good.
Yeah.
For everybody. By just being who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And doing what you love or being spontaneous.
They're not the bigger.
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And again, you said part of me wants to focus on the big ones, but then I don't, because then people will,
Well, yeah, so take it the smaller way. The smaller way is like, you need to take kickboxing.
Right.
Right. So,
right.
But you feel it so like solidly within you.
Right.
The thing is, you got to not hesitate on those. You got to act.
Yeah. And go.
And go. And
yeah. Do. Well, that's the other thing too, getting back to like the mundane and figure out whatever it is for you that frees you up in that sense, in that space. So it's happening again.
Yeah. So
I'm getting to the point in the show. It's so funny with you right next to me, where my brain has gone blank.
And I was having like this peaceful like Zen moment right then. I was like, oh, this feels great.
Yeah. But that's good for me because I'm always in my head. And so therefore for me to go blank is, for a head person, somewhat similar to.
Right. So I say, this is what I say.
Yeah.
Jen has the linear thinking brain. So linear thinking brain is like this, next. It's always like a progression of the thoughts.
Yes.
And I'm a flow thinker.
Yeah.
Where I'm not looking at what's coming next or looking for what's coming next.
No. And I'm always like, wait, because the first thing I thought about divine appointment, I went back to before we were born. I'm like, well, let's go back there. Like I said, check. This one's in my life. Okay, great. I've got lists.
Yeah, but what if you create more divine appointments by being available?
Thank you, because that was my next question. Was how do we? Okay, right? I guess you're just being available. You start with the little things, do what you want to do, and it opens it up, and you keep going and going and going.
Right. So you create more. You create more of that rhythm and that flow to happen for you if you're more available for the universe to kind of mold and shape you into this vehicle that allows yourself to be moved, which creates more opportunity and more of those life-changing moments. The thing is to, like, for me is even this week, like I know from the outside looking in, you would think that I had it all wrapped up in the bag, coming here and doing all that. And I was like, no, I was in huge panic before.
Yeah. And again, I never think that with you. I always think, oh, she's got it together. And again, that's my, okay. So if I'm always wanting to do it right, my whole piece, I'm always thinking, Janelle's got that covered. And you're constantly saying, no, watch here.
Right. But the perception is that in the role that I'm in,
right,
that I don't have those anymore, or I don't have the fear, or I don't have the things that come up for me. But because I'm very dedicated to really understanding things totally,
right,
I'll put myself on the chopping block so that when someone comes to me, you ask me this question,
right,
I can answer it from both places, from the spiritual side of myself, understanding the bigger picture,
right,
and what it means to us as people, but also the very human side of myself that had the raw emotions, that walked through the fear, that felt everything that I felt in my body, in my emotions, and what my thoughts were doing.
Right.
So it's twofold.
Yeah.
And every time that I do that, every time I make myself available for that moment to happen, it allows me to connect more.
Okay, so then on the other scale, for everybody else in their own way, every time that they clue in and see what it is.
Yeah, if you're willing to look at I don't spend my whole life dissecting.
No.
it's just when I know that I'm, so how do I know when I'm, the best way I could describe it is feels like static or fuzzy or not settled inside of me, and then that triggers me to go in.
Right, and ask those questions. Like, where is this coming from? Is this coming from you? Is it coming from someone else? What do I need to learn?
Right.
Because again, and here's the thing with divine appointment, as with anything, if you start to get those tests, I think most people probably stop short.
Shut down.
And then I think, once again, well, it's a sign, I'm not supposed to be doing it, and then that's it. They shut it down.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes that's
just get frustrated, and the mundane comes in.
Yeah. And then you stop.
Yeah, and I guess the point is, part of the point is to look inward and get through that piece. But I just had no clue with the divine appointment that you've got those bigger moments that come in for you to really look at yourself. Again, because it's, once again, getting down to the core of who are you? Who do you want to be? Who do not be?
Well, but it's also the thing of like stripping everything off of you. Yeah. That you identify with, that you think is you.
Well, and you just said that in what you channeled in before. So I guess the big ones, right, must come in as like levels, right? Because we're always growing and changing. So we're all going to be, for the sake of description, going up, if you will. So you're going to need to get rid of the things that no longer work, and there's no label, good or bad. It's just
right. So that always changes, right? So
yeah.
This way, how it occurred for me this week is not going to be how it is in 2 years for me, or next year, or this in 6 months. There will be probably something else, or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
But I really think that overall that we're really, as people, really wanting to grow in these ways. But I think we just get so terrified of our own creations, and that we just shut down.
And then shutting down means like forgetting how to create. I think that's just, in a sense.
Oh yeah, because we think it's life or death.
Yeah, like you said, like with me, the whole thing of wanting to get it right. Well, that completely will stop me from what is right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I think a great one too is like when we were doing the pictures, and
I can always hear the chatter in my head.
Yeah. It's like gears working, just so you know.
It's always. and I know that. And so then there's some chatter like this. She's hearing me now. I know. I know I'm in my space.
And really, I'm over there laughing at the joke.
I'm doing it again.
Going on in my mind.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm doing it again. I can feel myself doing it again. Oh, boy, go ahead, good. But it comes out. We'll post a picture or two of that. I'm going to put a little caption of me. I look like a 90-year-old woman hunched over. Anyway.
But I can see the gears in the brain working, and the thought processes, and yes, I do actually see gears rolling around in.
I have gears. You probably don't, but yes, I do. Brain, gears. There's some people that have the gears. Yeah. You'll know them when you see them. Yeah. They're like me.
Yeah, I see them. But I think inherently, though, people do want to shift out of those. I think everyone kind of does. Want to shift out of those places that we feel disempowered, restricted, or bound up. Yeah. Even for me.
Yeah. Well, and again, in those moments for me, I always forget to breathe, right? Because then I'll start to think, well, how do I get out of this? How did I even get here? But I do think knowing that you have opportunity for divine appointment to come in, and then also for you to be witness to other people's and grow, or be moved by that too.
I
feel like I have a divine appointment every week, every day with there's the baby next door. She's like 9 months now. So at the bus stop, my whole thing is like, you can't get enough of that energy. 9-month-old, happy.
No, just
it's like a reminder to me every day, and as all the kids are. All of them. But just as we always talked about this, actually one of the first shows, that connectedness, that all they do is smile, right? There's no, I've seen her cry once. We were like, oh my God, I've never seen you cry. Like, but it is that reminder. Here's that energy. Here's that peace.
Right.
here's who you are. So for me, I'm so grateful for that daily morning reminder.
And you know, they were bringing up something to me about like when you know that you're supposed to be doing something and then you don't.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Well, for me, what happens to me then is my stomach hurts. My stomach hurts. My stomach hurts.
And you feel like you dishonored yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Or you missed it.
Or you missed the moment.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, I think.
Or if you see maybe someone do something similar, or someone else do something that's great for them. For me, that's when it rings true for me. Like, oh, I was too afraid to do whatever it was.
But I didn't step outside of my comfort zone or whatever.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
Like I have a lot of people that come into my life, and I know that they're sent to me, or we have some purpose or something to do together, and then I ask them to do that thing.
Right.
And then you don't do it.
Well, that's interesting to know as you bring that piece up. And again, without looking for divine appointment, no. But there is that piece of awareness of feeling who comes into your life and what pings, what rings true, what feels different. I think to know that, and then naturally, I suppose, what comes in. And again, you're going to be a little bit different than necessarily everybody else per se. But that's interesting too. So then you need to wait to see if it comes back around with those people.
Right.
Will the opportunity swing back?
Sometimes it doesn't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that on me?
No.
It's not on them.
No, it's on them.
Right.
Because again,
and not a negative. I don't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that.
Right.
You know, I'm very open to the possibility of creation and creating, and a lot of my lessons come around not trusting the universe. My lessons usually come around trusting people. And so I know you've seen me walk through that a lot.
Right.
You know, and to me, you know, it's like the flip of everybody else, right? So
right, because I was going to say, clearly mine is trusting the universe, flowing into that.
Yeah, and mine is the flip, you know. So
yeah,
I think that, you know, I'm open to it. I put it out there. I say the statement, right? Like, yeah, I don't say, hey, you know, it's a divine appointment and you need to answer the call. You know, it's more like,
right.
It's more like, can you, you know, I asked the question like I did with you. Do you want to do the radio show with me?
Right. And that I get that piece because that pinged with me straight away. Right. It was solid.
Yeah. 100%. Or like when we asked the photographer.
Take two.
Okay. When I asked the photographer to come take the photos for our cover shoot.
Right.
What did she say?
She said, I just want to make sure, she hesitated. I want to make sure you know I'm not a professional photographer.
And what did I say to you?
You're like, yeah, you are. It's just so you know, you're the person, you're the right one. And it was interesting because even for me, I could feel, there were several people that we were thinking about this. You could feel the difference. Again, I guess in all the years of working with you, and I love this because this is in the book.
It was right.
Yeah, and this is in the book. You can really feel when it feels right. What I think, though, is what we said before. I don't think people do this enough. We do not stop ourselves enough and take that breath and take that pause to say,
you're missing one thing.
Yeah, you're not open. Let me just guess.
Guess. Let's put guessing game. Let's go through guess, and I'll tell you if you're right.
Okay. And so we're talking about divine appointment.
Yeah. And so what did
people getting it?
And Morgan do? What did she do?
She didn't own her power. She didn't even think that was on the radar. She said, but I'm not, I just want to let you know, I'm not that person.
So she said, I'm not good enough.
Yeah. And so she hesitated. So we could have said, oh yeah, you're right. Is that what you mean? And then I'll go to option 5.
It's more so that she said, even though I was saying to her,
you're great.
I want you. It wasn't about her being the #1 photographer in the whole Jersey area or whatever. It was about me picking, with my team saying, hey, this is the right person for the job.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yep.
Saying with the radio show, this is the right person for the job.
Right.
The book.
Yep.
This is the right person for the job.
Yeah.
I find, and you've seen me do it a lot, I don't say, hey, it's a divine appointment, you have to do it.
No.
what I say is, I really want you to do it because I think you're the best fit.
Yeah, and then it's up to everybody else to say yes. You know.
Yeah.
So people must miss a gazillion of these things. Mostly, I would think, probably out of fear
or the other one that comes up,
obligation, or family thinking.
Yeah. So the other one that comes up for me a lot is like I'll reach out to somebody because I know that we're supposed to do something together, and there's like zero response on the other side.
So interesting to me. So we should be cluing in to this and reaching out and doing these things, because it could be the little things or the big things, right? You know, so we should be taking those chances, doing those things.
Right.
And then it's up to the other person.
Because they think I have some kind of agenda, or I'm wanting something from them, or what have you. Yeah.
Or it goes back to them. They may not feel
good enough.
Yeah.
Worthy.
Right. Yeah.
Usually, I know you've seen this a lot in just doing the book process together with me.
Yes. Yes.
It has come up a lot.
Yeah.
The whole divine appointment thing has come up like repeatedly. I
love how I had no clue. I mean, I did. I knew that there's certain people, because we would talk about who's the best fit for what have you, you know, and it's always great for me because it's a teaching thing. And for me to actually be able to feel it. Feel if it's different.
Yeah, feel if it's the right combination for you.
But I also think too, Janelle, and I know you want to bring this up. I think bring it up, but I was going to say, you know, there's so much other static around us. Like, you know, that you're feeling, not you, that we might feel from other people.
I feel a lot of queasiness in my stomach right now.
You know. So I shouldn't be saying what I'm saying.
No. Do you feel a lot of I feel a lot of queasiness in my stomach.
No, but I know what I want to say. I'm saying about, like, there's judgment, I think, that we kind of walk through from other people or around other people. Not you and me. I think in general, like as a person, when I go to step out with something new, and I know that I judge myself, so of course that's going to be part of what I need to face. But I do feel like there could be a sense of when you go and you take that risk and you step out, depending on who is witnessing you, it's not always great stuff coming back at you. You know, sometimes there's judgment. So that's probably the queasiness you're feeling. Sorry. Let's get rid of that. So
I just had like a moment.
Yeah. So my point is that can make people hesitate too. You know, turn right back around and be like, well, forget it. You know. And I think my ultimate point is to say to people, well, stop, but also, like, learn, like, ask yourself, what do you want to be doing? What is that inspiring in you to do if somebody is jumping out, doing something different?
Right. Sorry, I'm working through.
I know. I'm like, sorry.
Stomach right now. Sorry.
So
just bear with me for a minute. I'm just gonna talk amongst myself.
And see, now my brain goes, crap, I shouldn't put that up. I'm like, oh no. And Janelle sees a big gear behind my head.
No, I'm just focused on my stomach because it feels like jacked right now.
Yeah.
So what's the stomach?
The stomach is the whole piece of, no, that's not the way to go. Like that
power center.
Yeah. Yeah.
Standing in your power.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it means that someone's coming at you with something.
Right. Yeah.
That is not healthy for you.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's a listening place. I call the stomach the listening place.
That's great. It's fantastic. You know. So yeah. All right. So I'm trying to think, how else do they want to wrap it up? I mean, we're not quite. Where are we? It's funny, I can't. Oh my God! We have 5 minutes left. We are at the. Holy smokes! Holy cow! Holy cow! All right. So.
Oh, by the way, can I just say, like, my hair is super awesome up here. Like, it's all fluffy, and like at home, it's not like that.
You don't have the humidity. It's dry.
Yeah, because it's dry up here. My hair is like, poof.
That's so funny.
I'm like, look at my hair.
I see you have to come more often. No, it's
my hair.
Not great. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So wait, I ask you this sometimes. We have to be open. Obviously not look for the divine appointment, but make yourself open to it. Is there any, I always want to ask you for like mantras or prayers or things that people can sort of say to get out of their own way? Or is that making it too much of a, then they're going to be looking for it process?
Yeah.
So just take in the info, let it sit with you and however it does. And
You
go
really
from there.
Can't, you really can't search for divine appointments or like create a mantra around them coming to you at all.
Right.
You really can't do that.
Okay.
It's just.
I'm glad I asked that.
Yeah,
that's good,
because it moves it into the space of expectation, and divine appointments are not expectations.
Right.
It's the knowing.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So, but since we just, this is one of our tapings live that we'll probably do together. You'll probably see more of them.
Yay.
If we can do, I don't know if we're going to do every week, if we'll do every other week, but we do invite you to go like our Facebook page at Spiritual Happy Hour.
Hey, how about this? Also, when you're on our page at Spiritual Happy Hour, share your divine appointments. Like, please, like, we want to hear from you guys.
Or or share the moments when someone asked you to do something and you hesitated, or you felt less than. Share those.
Yeah, let us know, because we want to know. It's a conversation.
Really
you're all invited in to our space.
Yeah, this is our conversation.
This is a conversation. So please share.
Right. So
share funny
you can do that on the Facebook page, which is Spiritual Happy Hour. You can also we're on Twitter at Spiritual Happy Hour, and shortly would be the website, which isn't. We're in the process of working on that.
Yeah.
Books wrapped up. Yeah. Oh my God, how many surprises do we have in store?
We're so ready.
Oh my God,
we're
so
much
ready.
Stuff. It's one big happy party.
Yeah, we're gonna be totally.
Like years ago.
Yeah, this is gonna be a party basically.
There's nothing dumbass about it. I don't know if they heard me say that. There's nothing dumbass about this. This is gonna be great. This could be a big. Well, no, we're not looking for that. It's gonna be divine. I'll leave the appointment off.
But we shot the whole cover yesterday. We laughed, we played. Photographer was great. And so the book will be out shortly. And we just want you to jump on board before it's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
5-night.
Yeah.
We're gonna do
parties.
Soul Quest.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff happening. So please join us. Also, we'll take show ideas too. Topics.
Yes, I was going to say, what do you want? What do you want us to talk about? What's in your world, but what are you thinking about? What do you have questions about?
Yeah. Please share those.
Yeah.
Too.
What would you like?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Definitely.
And please, what's your favorite 80s song?
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite?
Oh, what did we do the other night at the restaurant? That was a divine appointment.
Yes.
Singing.
Yes. Yeah. We sung at the piano.
We song.
Don't stop believing.
Hold on to that feeling.
Better voice.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
always upkeep.
People.
Whatever. It's fine.
We have so much in store, and I'm so excited. I love doing this on a couch next to Janelle. I'm like, just gonna scoot in closer, with the bullseye behind my head.
Right there.
Right there.
Yeah. That's happening right now.
But please reach out.
Oh, and we're in the basement too, by the way.
Yeah, we're in the basement. Yeah. But reach out, look for us.
Yeah.
We'll try to figure out if it's weekly, every other. We just do what feels right.
Yeah. So also,
join us.
like I said, Soul Healer Janelle Hoyland.
Yes.
Spiritual Happy Hour.
Yep.
Go
Facebook, Twitter, soon to be website.
Oh yeah, and the past shows on blog too.
Yes, Blog Talk Radio. You can pull them up on Blog Talk under Spiritual Happy Hour and listen to our craziness. So hey, till next time, right? Love you guys. Tune in.
Bye.
Tune in. Keep smiling.